to the Effective Management Association Fast Track Webinar Series. I'm your host, Jade Berenson. In these webinar series, we'll hear from successful business owners, managers, and professionals in their field on how they made it to the top by using the Hubbard Management System. Today, I'm excited to introduce a very special guest, an entrepreneur, a Hubbard Management System expert, and the director of the Effective Management Association, Mr. Roberto Banke. Welcome, Roberto.
Hey, thank you, Jade.
How are you today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Roberto, and I live in Southern California in Orange County, about 45 miles south of Los Angeles.
Nice.
And in 2011, I was able to come across the Hubbard Management System, and that's when my whole entire life completely changed from just the day-to-day struggles to not knowing how to really get a company going to now being able to create on bigger and better effective solutions for what we're trying to accomplish together.
Wow, that sounds really, really amazing. So tell me about your business. What do you do?
I have two businesses. I have a dental company. So I have 3 dental offices in Orange County, and I have some affiliate dental offices throughout the country. And my other business is manufacturing of disposables. So I manufacture pizza boxes, toilet paper, and plastic cutlery for various needs throughout the country, or world actually. I have customers in about 32 different countries right now. I use the Hubbard Management System across, even my own personal life to just everything that I do. We first started with a dental office. We had one dental office at the time, and we were able to learn on how to really properly structure what an office is supposed to be like and how to really effectively care for your patients in a manner that the patient can really perceive it and actually then accept treatment plans. Because in dentistry, our whole goal is to get new patients and then care for the patient and see the patient get the dental work. But there was so much to it that it was overwhelming. And with the Hubbard Management System, I was able to really break everything apart and really understand every single bit and piece that is vital for the company and what is not vital, and really organize it in such a straightforward manner that I've never ever experienced through my life. I went to school in Northern California. I went to Berkeley, then I ended up finishing off at Cal State Los Angeles with international business degree. Then I went to UCLA to get my MBA CPA license. And throughout that process, I always felt like business was really complicated and you had to be really smart and very intelligent and just something that I wasn't, to that type of expectation for a college student or a graduate student. But with what Mr. Hubbard created was just simplicity. And I'm very simple, as in I like things to be very simple so I can then just be more effective. And that's what I got out of it. It went from, doing, $300,000 one year, then we broke $1 million within the next year.
Wow.
We went from having one office, now we have 3 offices of our own. Went from working 7 days a week to now I haven't really worked in the dental office in the last 2.5 years. I've been traveling. My wife's a dentist, so it was kind of interesting to get her pulled out of it, but we successfully did it within 3 years of the Hubbard Management. The second year using Hubbard Management, she was able to take 3 months off. Then the next year she took 6 months off.
Wow.
And her personal income kept on increasing. So, it's not about the money and taking time off. It's about that you're really delivering a product that is being received by your consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows, to me, that's the credibility. It's cool that we're making more money. That's cool that we have more freedom. But what's really interesting is seeing that our staff are now able to duplicate and implement the Hubbard Management System effectively. And that's how, hence, Effective Management Association. It just kind of all works hand in hand.
So you became the director for the Effective Management Association at the same time as running all these businesses. That's just amazing.
Yeah, in 2016, I met with Mr. Strube in New York, and I explained to him the amount of knowledge that I was able to gather through the Hubbard Management System. And I just was perplexed as to why the heck is this not out to every single human being in the United States at least, if not worldwide. And I just couldn't understand or fathom how people are not able to actually, if they don't know about it, they're not going to have it. And I realized that the only reason why I was given this opportunity was because of a wise company called MGE who reached out to us. And now I realize, if I had the success with dentistry, if I'm having the success with pizza boxes, I need to really focus on how can I help the masses with what helped me. And to have that freedom and to have the, I guess you could say, the various things that come with having such an organized company that I own, I really feel like it's now my obligation to really introduce people what actually works. And in 2016, that's when Quint and I realized we need to really do something about this. And so the last 2.5 years, I was able to focus on transitioning out of my businesses, and I'll be actually selling everything in the next few months and being able to move to New York and really just putting my attention 100% on the EMA. And at the end of the day, I'm going to approach it like I did with pizza boxes. I made sure every single pizza customer or every single pizza shop throughout the country knew who I was. I've called every single pizza parlor at least 15 times across the country. Wow. So my goal is to do the same thing with EMAs, make sure we get in front of every single school, every single junior college, every single high school, every single business owner, letting them know about EMA, the training courses that we have to offer, sharing them the successes that I've had, and then actually then seeing them have it, and then they can go and help others and help themselves. Fantastic.
So you were telling me earlier about one of the main things that you used was leadership, like how do you lead a company. So tell me about that.
You know, there's so many different things that we've learned through the Hubbard Management System. And one of it was just the word being reasonable. And when I realized that being reasonable is not conducive for an organization, I quickly had to correct myself. Because if Susie's coming to work and she's just casual about her day and casually takes the phone calls and maybe casually reminds me that I have to call somebody back, it just becomes a real, I guess you could say, a submissive environment of complacency. And I soon realized like that is not okay, because if I'm allowing that to happen, I'm then allowing my product that I'm delivering to my patients or pizza box customers receive that type of reasonable product. Right now in society, with the amount of insanity that's occurring, the least I could do is really just deliver an abundance and really deliver a product that's effective. And that actually will decrease the reasonableness on my end and actually will show the consumer that, hey, it's not okay to receive subpar product. And as I was able to really kind of like start isolating these things, I realized that just alone, a leader cannot be reasonable with anything. I mean, if your numbers are down, you can't be okay with it. You can't find reasons to blame. If your employees are having a high turnover rate, you can't be okay with it and just start blaming them and being reasonable about your excuses. If you're having difficulties financially, you can't be reasonable about it, because opening up a dental office or opening up a manufacturing plant, you're pretty much saying like, hey guys, like I'm the guy, you can trust me because I will deliver. And to do that, there's a lot of responsibility that is held behind that. And it just starts with being unreasonable. And unreasonable is just delivering a product that's just going to blow everybody's mind. And so learning that through the Hubbard Management System, I realized that you can't tolerate anything less than just perfection. I mean, it's impossible to have perfection. However, it's a fun challenge to have, because you're like, hey, how can I increase my product here? Or how can I increase my customer service there? Or how can I be a better leader? How can I be a better motivator for the company? How can I really effectively get more of a stronger following of my consumers? And at the end of it, it comes down to, if you're reasonable, you're not going to get any of that. And that's just what really has helped me by far in able to accomplish the different barriers that I had to face.
And that's something you learn in the Hubbard Management System.
Yeah, I mean, you start learning how to properly structure a company, and you can't be reasonable with yourself. Like, you have to know who's doing what and why they're doing it and what it is that you expect out of them. And I mean, just living life alone, you can't be reasonable about it. So the Hubbard Management System, what it did was it really allowed me to break everything apart, isolate each function, and then see how these things mesh together without having that cloudy feel, without having that feeling of not wanting to go to work or not wanting to face the different challenges, or how to really trying to come across how to make payroll or, rents or whatever bills I'm having. It really made me realize, like, wait, what's going on here? Why am I having these issues? Oh, I was being reasonable with so-and-so, or I was being reasonable with clients that aren't paying me on time. I'm being reasonable with my sales reps by giving too many discounts. And, it starts with seeing myself as a person. Like, am I excited? Am I satisfied? Am I complacent? And when you start getting those indicators, one starts realizing that you're probably being reasonable, and there's some areas that you need to really fine tune and really go back at it.
What other tools do you use in your companies, like statistics?
Yeah. So for instance, like the biggest one that I like to use is there's the amount of money that we make and the amount of money that we present. It's really good because you can have a sales rep coming in and saying, oh my God, I closed $100,000 today, which is phenomenal. That's great. But it's like at the same time that they were presenting, you know, $4 or $5 million deals and they're like coming back with 100,000. You want to know like what happened between that gap. And that was a bit of a challenging factor for me because I used to get excited with a $100,000 deal, but I'd always forget about what about the other stuff that we left on the table, right?
Yeah.
And again, that just comes down to being reasonable. Like before I'd be reasonable, like, okay, well, we made $100,000 today. That's exciting. But now it's like, no, like what else is on the table? Like what did we do incorrectly? Like why did we not take it all? Like what's going on? And so now what we do is I have two statistics. One is how much did you present and how much did you collect? The goal is for it to always be equal. However, that it's rare that that happens. But then you want to find out how can you close that gap between what was presented and what was collected. And it really comes down to having to use your statistics and then being able to confront where did you go wrong as a sales rep? Where did I go wrong as a business owner? Where did I not take into consideration what the consumer actually wants? Or why was I mean, it comes down to like, why was I presenting such a high number and coming out with a little number? Like, why would I even do that to a person?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're presenting a $4 million deal and you're coming back with 100,000, it's like, did I just waste a lot of time in creating this big bid?
Right. Yeah.
And I actually got, you know, so you start realizing, like, wow, I'm spending a lot of time on nonsense, or I'm spending a lot of time on things that are effective. And so that's the one thing that I like to use with statistics. The other thing I like to use with statistics is I like to just see the overall growth of the company, because on a day-to-day basis, I feel that I'm not really seeing as far out as I could or looking back at my trail. But with the weekly statistics that we learn through the Hubbard Management System, I'm able to really look at it from a point of view of, I guess you could say, an exterior like overview of what has actually occurred. And it's always rewarding to see that because you're like, holy cow, like this was a horrible week, but actually this week was way better than last year at this time. And I've done that. It's like I'll be coming across these weeks. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just being murdered. Like I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is ridiculous. Like this is impossible.
Yeah.
But then when you look at your statistics, you're like, holy cow, like I actually increased by $5 million this year. Or like, oh my gosh, we're going to be breaking a $25 million increase this year. So you start seeing actually what your hard work is paying off. And as a person, I know that, at least for myself, I know that I'm pretty tough, so I'll beat myself up a lot. But having these statistics, having these numbers, I'm able to like really look at it and actually notice that I stop really paying attention to whatever my feelings or my thoughts or whatever challenges I'm having mentally, because I just know I just need to look and just look. Don't even think about it. Just look and see what's going on. And they say what numbers don't lie, but figures figure. So I just want to know what my numbers are, and that's all I care about. Yeah. So the meetings have gone from having a sales rep selling me on how awesome they are to I really don't care how cool you are. Just give me your report. Let me see where you're at. It's usually like a 5-minute communication, five-minute conversation, and it's just in and out. If your numbers aren't there, get back to me and tell me what you're going to do differently. If it doesn't improve within 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have to find something else to do then.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's just a small tip of a giant iceberg of everything that you can learn in the Hubbard Management System. So, but that's already very amazing. So tell us now about the Effective Management Association. Like where are they located and how does one become a member?
Well, Effective Management Association is pretty, it's located all across the country. There's 20 different locations from Miami to Detroit to Atlanta to Southern California. And it's really what it is. It's a group of people coming together and understanding that there's a Hubbard Management System and how one can actually implement it in their company in a nice gradient that allows their staff or their employees to be able to adopt the various training programs that we offer through EMA.
Like the fast track online courses and webinar series, right?
Webinar series, the fast track online courses. We'll be delivering boot camps. So what I noticed as a business owner is that it's one thing for myself to be educated and gather all this great knowledge, but it really didn't do any good when I wasn't sharing it with my employees. And so with EMA, what the beauty behind EMA is that we're able to really bring it into an organization and properly train everybody so they can start having the thinking and the awareness of the business owner. A person should know how to properly communicate to whether it's a vendor, a customer, a prospect customer, to a comrade within the company. And I didn't know how to do that before Hubbard Management System. I kind of always just spoke to, not communicate, and I'd just tell people what to do, not realizing what's going on the other end. So with EMA, we're able to really just go in and start not isolating, but really able to like implement small, subtle, very, very effective strategic planning to help a company of any size, of any sort. And really just look.
The business analysis?
Yeah, you can do a business analysis, so we can find the areas that where there's some opportunities. Mm-hmm. And we'll look at areas that you actually have your strengths in. And we're able to really figure out and diagnose, as a doctor would to a patient, on what areas we need to really improve. Because a lot of the times the owner's a really good sales rep or a sales representative, but then it's behind the scenes that need to be corrected. And so when you do this analysis, you're able to see like, oh my gosh, like I don't have the right employee at that position, or oh my gosh, I really need help in this area because this is affecting me negatively on this end of my sales. So overall, the EMA to me is like a professional business doctor going in and really finding out what needs to be done and what needs to be added and what needs to be corrected, with the end game of that company being able to do it on their own without having a consultant, because we really want to just train so one can then do on their own. And that was the biggest success that I got out of Hubbard Management System, is I was trained, and I was trained very heavily, where I don't necessarily have to keep asking for someone to come in and give me their advice, because that's just another person's perspective. But I, as a business owner, I do know what I need to do, and if I have the tools, I can then implement it correctly. So it's really important that we train anybody who wants to be part of EMA.
Well, that's fantastic. So how can people get in touch with you if they want further information?
Well, they can go to our website, and going to our website, you can definitely send your information, and we can respond back to you as quickly as we can. We're going to be doing these monthly webinars, and hopefully we can do more. And then as we start doing boot camps, there'll be mailers, emails going out and inviting people to the various boot camps that we'll be doing, whether it's for the large group in itself or for small companies individually. In fact, this week we had a boot camp done in New York with a very large furniture company. And what we did was we had the boot camp tailored around the organizational board. And the business owner and his partner were just absolutely blown away, realizing like, holy cow, like we don't know what so-and-so's doing, and we don't know why we're paying this person this, and like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And so it was a real good 12-hour boot camp of really just isolating what we do know, what we don't know. And again, a lot of it just comes down to these executives that are so good. And when you make so much money, it's so much easier to hide your sins. And so when you start doing like the org board and you start doing these boot camps, you really start realizing like, oh my gosh, like if I just perfected this here, I could have astronomical increases. Yeah. And so it's just interesting to see like just the small, subtle things that Hubbard Management System has to offer, or what we can implement through EMA, is mind-boggling with the actual sanity that one receives.
Yeah, that's totally true. So I'm just going to say, if you're interested in becoming a member or would like to sign up for our fast track training courses, the website is www.effectivemanagement.us. All right. Well, Roberto, thank you so much for being here and letting us know all the good things that you're doing in the Hubbard Management System and the Effective Management Association. And
hey, you're very welcome. And really, this is for anybody who wants to bring in the Hubbard Management System into their company. It's such a nice gradient, what we've created, where it's not overwhelming for the employees or for the business owner. And it's just, I mean, if you just do 15 minutes to an hour of training a day, it's really, really bringing in a lot of good knowledge that's going to help your company by far. I mean, to this day, I have all my employees, I have them do about an hour to 2 hours a day of online training. Wow. And then we actually have a lot of boot camps that go on throughout the week, because I spend a lot of time on myself in training these systems. And if I want my executives to know it, they also have to spend a lot of time. And it is a financial investment, but at the end it's rewarding, because you really want to have your group at the end of the day look at each other and be like, holy cow, like we understand exactly what you're saying. We know why you're doing this, or just the subtle things that I do know. I really want them to be on the same page. And with EMA, I'm so confident to the point where I'm selling everything that I own so I can jump into this whole hog, because I know this is the right thing for me to do. And I know that if I'm able to get in front of every single person, I can really do this correctly. And through time, it's just going to get better and better because there's just no other solution in my eyes that was more effective than Hubbard Management Systems. I mean, going from UCLA, going to Berkeley to UCLA with the intention of applying to Harvard and going to an Ivy League and then coming across Hubbard Management Systems, I completely dropped out of everything. And I realized, like, all this out there is a joke. The stuff that the tools that Hubbard created is magnificent. And it's so simple. I mean, it's really like it's just reminding us what we already knew and just reminding us the simplicity of life. And so it's just quite phenomenal. So I really hope to meet everybody. I hope to just have a conversation, figure out who you are, figure out what you do, see if I can help you, and see what we could do to really create a stronger group with EMA. So thank you so much, Jade. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you are very welcome, and thank you.